Welcome to part 4 of my GameCube collection series during the week of GameCube on the channel. In part 3, we took a look at everything else in the collection. In part 2, we took a look at the journey from beginning to end for my GameCube collection. And in part 1, we took a look at every single North American Black Label game in the collection. I will leave a link to those in the description down below. In part 4 today, we are going to be taking a look at and talking about the rarest and most expensive GameCube games that are out there. We're going to talk about the ones that I have in the collection. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, grab some whiskey, and let's take a look at this beautiful stack of the most rare and expensive GameCubes in the collection. Alright folks, there's a lot of money here in just this stack alone. And we're going to start things off with a couple of games that are flying under people's radar. A lot of collectors that I've noticed don't seem to realize that these games are getting very rare and very expensive quite quickly. And the first game is City Racer. Now, I got City Racer from eStarland, and this copy is not the greatest. I actually have a replacement on the way that should come in the mail today or tomorrow to replace this copy. At any rate, City Racer is very quickly becoming one of the rarest and not the most expensive, but the price is going up quick. And it's a game that a lot of people have never even heard of for the GameCube, and a lot of collectors don't seem to realize that this game is getting quite difficult to find and quite expensive. As of right now on pricecharting.com, the loose price for City Racer is $10, the complete price is $28, and the new price is $40. But that's not quite accurate. As you can see here, looking at some eBay listed prices, this game is getting up in the $100 range, and even in some eBay sold listings, some recent sold listings, it's in the $100 range as well. So I don't think Price Charting's data is quite up to date and accurate as far as the true market value currently for this game, because it's going up in price very quickly. Now, why is it rare and expensive? Well, I don't really know. The only thing that I do know, looking at VGCharts.com, is that the game only sold 10,000 copies. And it's an Ubisoft game, so that's very odd. You would think it would have sold a lot more than that. It's very possible that, like most of the games in today's video, that it probably had a low print and limited print run, low manufacturing run, that sort of thing. But the fact that it only sold 10,000 copies means that there aren't very many copies of the game out there, and that's why it is very rare and getting more and more expensive as time goes on. So next up is another game that's flying under collectors' radar, and it's going up in price and becoming rare and expensive as well, and that is Tube Slider. Now, my copy, thank goodness, is in pretty good condition, and it's complete in box. Now, this is actually a GameCube exclusive, only for the Nintendo GameCube, which makes it even more rare and more expensive, I think. It only sold around 20,000 copies in North America. That's not very many. Again, I wasn't able to find a lot of information on why this one is so rare, but my guess is it probably also had a low print run. And currently on pricecharting.com, we've got a loose price of $20, a complete price of $45, and a new price of $67. Now again, that is not accurate if you look at eBay and Amazon and places like that. I don't think Price Charting has enough recent data on this game, because looking at eBay listed prices and eBay sold prices, this game is selling and listed for quite a bit of money. And every time I check, it seems like the price goes up a little bit more and more. So if you're a GameCube collector, I highly recommend that you go ahead and pick up City Racer and Tube Slider, because they're going to get more and more difficult to find as time goes on. And there's another game in the stack that we'll get to here in just a little bit that also kind of falls in the same category as these two. Now, this next game is Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 Plus, which was a re-release of Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2. They added some new content, they fixed some bugs and glitches, and this probably also had a low manufacturing run, I would imagine, because Sega probably figured that a lot of people that have already bought the game probably won't buy the re-release. So they were probably just trying to target some new customers with this game. And it only sold around 40,000 copies in North America, so there are not very many copies out there of Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 Plus. Looking at pricecharting.com, it is listed loose at $80, complete price is $93, and new price is $324. And again, this is a game that the price is going up very quickly because there aren't very many copies out there being distributed, and it's becoming quite hard to find. So collectors, you better snatch this one up while you have the chance before it gets way too expensive. This is one of my favorite pieces of my GameCube collection, and that is the Resident Evil 10th Anniversary Collection, which was a GameStop exclusive, and it contains Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 0, all the player's choice copies. But that's not what makes this so rare. It's the actual cardboard slipcover itself, because you could of course find all three of these loosely as player's choice copies, but you're not likely to find this slipcover, especially in this condition. I got lucky and a family member had this. I saw it on their shelf one day. I didn't even know it existed at the time, and I talked them into selling it to me, and they sold it to me for a very good price. And it's now one of my favorite pieces in the collection because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, especially Resident Evil 4. But I was not able to find any sales data on this one. The only thing that I know is that there aren't very many copies of this out there. Probably less than 10,000, honestly, maybe even less than 5,000. And it was a GameStop exclusive and limited edition, so I had a very limited print run. And currently on price charting, the loose price is 31 bucks. The complete price is 96, and then the new price is 111. I didn't check eBay on this one, but I would suspect that the eBay prices are probably a lot more than that. This is incredibly difficult to find, especially in this condition, so I'm very happy to have that in the collection. Next up is another game that a lot of people don't realize is very rare and expensive, and it's flying under collectors' radar, and that is Rally Championship, a racing game that actually looks pretty cool. I haven't played it, but it looks pretty decent. So Rally Championship is getting quite rare and expensive, and there were only 10,000 copies of this game sold in North America. So again, I suspect it had a low print run, a low manufacturing run, or maybe it just didn't sell very good at all, and there just aren't very many copies out there. It's all speculation on this one. But currently on price charting, we have a loose price of $32, a complete price of $99, and a new price of $130. Now, I can't quite remember where I got this game. I think I got it from eStarland.com, and I want to say I paid probably around $80 on it. So, and that was several months ago, so I know the price has gone up even more since then. So, again, collectors out there, you might want to snatch this one up because it's going up in value very quickly. Next up is an amazing RPG game, and one that is quite rare and expensive on the GameCube, and I suspect that's because people out there don't want to get rid of their copies of it, so there aren't very many floating around, and that's Skies of Arcadia Legends. Skies of Arcadia Legends only sold around 170,000 copies in North America, which is more than any of the games we've talked about so far, but still not that many. So there aren't very many copies out there, and I'm pretty sure all the collectors out there are hoarding these. So currently on pricecharting.com, it's listed loose at $65, complete at $115, and new at $180. Not only is this game rare and expensive, but it's also a very, very good RPG if you're a fan of RPG games. So collectors out there, you should definitely pick this one up soon because the price is going to keep going up on it. Next we have Chibi-Robo Plug Into Adventure, which is a fantastic game that I did an episode of GameCube Gallery on. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below if you want to learn more about the game itself and some of the history around it. But Chibi-Robo is actually a first-party Nintendo game. It only sold around 230,000 copies, so didn't sell very well, and that's probably part of the reason why it's so rare and expensive. I think with it being a new franchise from Nintendo, they were probably being very cautious, and they probably didn't manufacture very many copies of it. Currently on pricecharting.com, Chibi-Robo is listed loose at $74, complete at $120, and new at $140. I got my copy again on eStarland.com, and I want to say I paid around $90 for it, so it was pretty expensive at the time, and the price has gone up even more since then. Next up is Go Hypergrind. Now I'm actually very proud of this one, and it's got a nice story behind it in my collection, and that is because if you can see that sticker there, I actually found this game at a retail game store for $4.99. So I caught that game store slipping big time, because this game is quite rare and expensive from Atlas. It had a limited print run. Atlas, both of the Atlas games on the GameCube had a limited print run, but this one is very expensive. Now unfortunately my copy doesn't have the manual, but you know what? I paid $5 for it, so I'm not complaining at all. Currently on PriceCharting.com, Go Hypergrind is listed loose at $73, complete at $146, and new at $239. And it only sold around 20,000 copies in North America, so there aren't very many of these out there. And I also did an episode of GameCube Gallery on this game as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below if you want to learn more about the game. It's actually a really good and unique game from Atlas. Next up is a game that, yet again, this is a game a lot of collectors know is rare, but a lot of just regular people that are just getting into collecting for the GameCube, they may not realize that a sports game, a generic sports game, is one of the rarest games on the GameCube, and that is NCAA College Basketball 2K3 from Sega. Now, this game, not only was it published in limited quantities, but Sega also stopped the production and manufacturing of it halfway through its run, because it only sold around 10,000 copies. It did not do well, so Sega pulled it. They just pulled the plug on the manufacturing of it, and that's what made it so freaking rare and expensive. My copy's in great condition. It's complete in box. Very happy about that. Currently on PriceCharting.com, we have a loose price of $112, a complete price of $154, and a new price of $342. Quite rare and expensive, but definitely a game that hardcore collectors need to get their hands on before it gets even more rare and expensive. Next up is another Nintendo first-party game, and this is actually probably becoming the rarest and most expensive Nintendo first-party game, and that is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Also a fantastic game from what I understand. I haven't played it yet. I will be soon, actually, in the very near future, but very rare game, very expensive, and again, I think it's because the copies that are out there, people don't want to get rid of because they love the game so much. So it was released in small quantities in North America, because this was really the first time Fire Emblem had come to North America, and Nintendo wasn't sure how it would do, so they were being cautious with it, just like with Chibi-Robo. And again, it only sold around 160,000 copies, so there aren't very many of them out there. And currently on PriceCharting.com, it has a loose price of $107, a complete price of $169, and a new price of $264. Quite expensive game, and getting more and more expensive. Next up from Konami is Disney Sports Basketball. Now unfortunately my copy is missing the manual, and it's not in the greatest shape ever, but I got it for a decent price, so I'm not complaining there. But this game is pretty expensive, pretty rare. I'm not really sure why. I do know it only sold about 10,000 copies in North America, so it did not sell very well at all. There aren't very many copies of the game out there. Currently on PriceCharting.com, it has a loose price of $100, a complete price of $233, and a new price of $400. So again, this is one of the rarest and most expensive games on the GameCube. Next up, we have the other Atlas game on the GameCube, and that's Cubivore Survival of the Fittest. Just like with Go Hypergrind, Atlas did a very small manufacturing run on this game, and Cubivore only sold around 10,000 copies in North America, so there aren't very many of them out there. It's a very weird and unique game, and it is very rare and very expensive. Currently on PriceCharting.com, we have a loose price of $125, a complete price of $245, and a new price of $500. I'm glad that I got it when I did, because when I got it for a good price from a good friend on Instagram, and that was before the price shot up even more. Next up, we have the Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker / Metroid Prime Combo Pack. My copy is complete in box and in really good condition. Now, I wasn't able to find sales data on this. This wasn't actually released on retail store shelves. This is not for resale because it was a pack-in with a holiday console bundle, a limited edition holiday console bundle. So you could only get this game by purchasing the GameCube console that came out. This was 2005, and this was a pack-in, so it's very, very rare. I have no idea how many copies of this are out there. Probably not very many at all, which is probably why it's quite rare and expensive. Currently on PriceCharting.com, we have a loose price of $241, a complete price of $281, and a new price of $1,500. So if you want to try to get a sealed copy of this, you better be ready to throw down some change, because woo, $1,500, that's a lot of money. Now, the last rare and expensive game that I own, unfortunately no manual, but that is Gotcha Force. From Capcom, we have Gotcha Force. It was only released in very limited quantities in North America. It only sold around 10,000 copies in North America, so there aren't very many out there. It's quite rare and expensive. Currently on PriceCharting.com, we have a loose price of $123, a complete price of $267, and a new price of $395. It is one of the rarest and most expensive games on the GameCube. So these are the games that are the most rare and expensive that I have in my collection, but there's actually about 5 more, and maybe a few more too that I didn't add into today's video, but there's about 5 more that I want to get my hands on that are getting very rare and expensive. First up, we have the Pure Evil 2-pack. Next up after that, we have the Zelda Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time Master Quest combo. Next up after that is another combo pack, and that is Super Monkey Ball 2 combo pack. Next up, Sonic Adventure 2 pack. And finally, last but not least, a holy grail item on the GameCube, and that is the Pokemon box with the cable. If you wanted to buy all of the things we talked about in today's video complete, you're looking at close to $4,000, and that's if you pay, of course, retail value on eBay or in a retail game store or something like that. So, whoo, a lot of money in these rare and expensive GameCube games. A lot of money. Now, fortunately, me, myself, personally, the stack that you see here today, I probably only paid, if I had to guess, maybe a quarter to half of the retail value of this stack of games. So I came out pretty good on that. But as they become rarer and rarer and harder to find, people are going to have to resort to eBay and Amazon to buy these, and they're going to be paying top dollar. So I feel bad for your wallets and your bank accounts. Thank you so much for watching part 4 of my GameCube collection series in GameCube Week on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please throw down on that like button. It really means a lot to me and it helps the channel quite a bit. Let me know in the comments down below if you have questions about any of these games. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you own any of these games in your own GameCube collection. And I also want to know if you own any of the 5 items I listed at the end that I don't yet own in my own collection. As always, folks, I appreciate you tuning into the channel, and if you're new here, be sure and hit that subscribe button so that you can join the RetroWolf family and not miss future videos. Until next time, keep playing games and having a good time, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.